All right, sorry to keep you guys waiting. And Anderson and hey, buddy, Anderson and Nick are going to be a while longer too. The attendance tonight was 13,114. We did a gate of 4.5 million. The fight of the night was Latis and Bosch. Performance of the night, Alves and Latis. So, where's Talis? Yeah, 100,000. Congratulations. Face feels better now, doesn't it? Who's got the first question? Kev?
Hey, Dana. First of all, can you evaluate both your impression of Nick and Anderson tonight, and especially in the case of Anderson, first fight back, what your thought was?
Yeah, so, obviously it's not the fight that I expected it to be. I thought there would be, first of all, I thought there'd be a lot more punches. Nick Diaz alone is usually a guy who will stalk you down, taunt you, and throw hundreds of punches. And Anderson Silva usually throws punches, kicks, knees, Anderson came back from this injury, and I said going into this fight, I bet it's going to be a very, mentally tough for him to go in and perform. I think that, if he was just trying to get the 5 rounds or, I don't know. I wasn't in there fighting, but I just expected a lot more output.
Didn't see you looked over in the 5th round.
I get weird, man. I'm weird. I'm weird at these things. I left the Conor McGregor fight, too. I didn't watch that one either.
Was it unhappy, or you were just nervous?
I'm gonna have a heart attack one of these days. I think I'm gonna have a heart attack, and sometimes I just like to go watch it in the back.
And this, I know you don't like to talk about future fights, and I'm not asking you a specific fight, but just what do you do with Nick Diaz right now? He's lost 3 fights in a row. Obviously, the crowd, cheers for him and everything, but he's lost 3 in a row in the St. Pierre fight. 2 of the 3, all 3 judges had it, 5-0 tonight. 2 of the 3 had it 5-0. What do you do with him, given the fact that he has popularity, but he only wants big fights, and then you have the record that he has?
Right. I don't think it's about what I think is going to happen with Nick Diaz. What's Nick Diaz going to do next? You know what I mean? Who knows? Who knows what Nick's going to do? Nick made a lot of money tonight. You might not see him for 3 years this time.
How long is his contract? You signed him into a new deal in July, right? When you brought him back, didn't you? When you announced?
I think so. Yeah, I don't remember exactly where he is, but I think so. I think we just signed him to a new deal.
Okay. And then when the Seahawks win tomorrow, how much are you getting?
Yeah, you and Misha are going to be crying some big crocodile tears on Sunday night there, buddy.
And then, if I could ask Tyron Woodley a question. Tyron, you made that comment in the ring about giving the bonus. You didn't want the bonus money, but I understand the money was already in your check. So, how do you do that since you already got it?
Well, it wasn't really a bonus money. It was a penalty.
I mean the penalty
from the commission, and it's 2015. I think we'll find a way. When they told me originally, I was pissed off. I've said some words that Dana and a million other people probably have never heard me say. I'm pretty quiet. But sometimes when things are just principle to me really kind of bites me really hard. And it's just tough going through a training camp, especially for me. I changed a lot of things in my life. My diet, I'm not a small welterweight myself. I'm a big guy for the welterweight division. So for me to be able to monitor that, make those lifestyle changes, and take it as a professional, I was just kind of a little annoyed. And a lot of it had to do with weight cutting. And, I just read something on my phone. Someone sent me a message. And I just shook these guys' hands and said, all right, I came to fight, let's fight, and I left out. And that was all they needed, and I just kind of swept it under the rug. The kid lost, had his first loss. He's not going to get his win bonus. Dana White's probably yelled at him. His coach just probably yelled at him. He's probably pissed off by himself. So I just can't find it in my heart to do that right now. But I got the win. I had a good performance, and I feel good about it.
Dana, it looked like you got some breaking news there from Mr. Shaw.
Yeah, Nick's not going to be here. Nick's eye's bad. He's got a lot of stitching to do. He's not going to make it.
Okay, fair enough. Thank you for that update. Obviously, kind of a weird night all the way around. Started out with losing a fight early on. Jimmy Hedges, we understand that he's been released from the hospital. Do you have any update on his condition? What happened?
Yeah, no, he's okay. He was backstage, and they're back there getting ready and warming up, and he fainted. And apparently when he fainted, he was out for 10 seconds. I don't know how they know 10 seconds. They gave him the 10 count or what, but they said about 10 seconds. The doctor evaluated him and said he was okay to fight, and the commission said, yeah, we're not going to let him fight, which I agree with 100%. It's not worth it, we'll pay the kid.
I was going to ask you about your pay decisions. What did you decide to do on that? Give him show money, and how about Diego?
They both got their show money, yeah.
Both got show money.
Yep.
And ask you as well about Kelvin Gastelum. Obviously, some reports came out today that his coach said he passed out as well yesterday. Can you walk us through what happened with Kelvin Gastelum and why he was allowed to fight?
So I didn't know if he passed out or not, but he was definitely having a hard cut. They took him to the hospital, and he was definitely in a bad way yesterday. So even after Tyrone said he'd accept the fight with him 10 pounds over, we didn't know if Gastelum was going to fight last night. We didn't know till today. So they obviously let him get some fluids, rest, sleep. He woke up today. They reevaluated him and said he was okay to fight. And when I talked to him, tonight when he got here to the arena, he was a completely different person than he was yesterday, as you can imagine. So,
is there? I mean, we add in, John's missing weight as well. It's just kind of a weird week all the way around. I mean, is there something that a message that guys need to get or understand? I mean, the whole weight cutting process, guys passing out in the back. Is there something that people need to be paying attention to?
I mean, if you look at how many fights we do, we do a ton of fights. This is definitely one of the weirdest weeks ever. These kind of things are very rare. But yeah, I think the guys do need to figure out. I mean, listen, look at this guy. There's no way that he can't make that weight. He should be able to make that weight at his size. Well, he's not going to have the opportunity to make that weight again. He's going to have to move up. And he just beat the number 3 guy in the world tonight and did it impressively. So it's unfortunate, And
last question out for you, Dana. Obviously, we couldn't help but notice John Jones cage side tonight. Any progress on that fight? I think you had told people earlier this week that Jones and Rumble might take place in May. Was there any progress made?
Yeah, that fight is not done yet.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you. John, if we could just get your thoughts on well, let me ask you first. You're in a wheelchair, I guess. Can you tell us what's going on with the leg?
Você está na cadeira de rodas. O que aconteceu com você?
Então, ali foi chute que eu dei na perna dele no primeiro round e acabou pegando pegou a parte superior em cima do meu pé ali e acabou machucando.
In the first round, he kicked to hit the knee and hurt the top of his foot.
And fantastic performance, obviously, after missing weight. But I have to ask you, there was a gesture at the end where it looked like you were making kind of a gesture at your belly. I know he'd called you fat, but I don't know. It seems like kind of a disrespectful thing to do when you miss weight by as much as you did. So can you say why you did that? And you have any regret maybe that you made that gesture?
Foi uma luta fantástica, boa performance, mas ali no final você botou a mão na barriga, entendeu? Parecia meio desrespeitoso. Por que você fez isso?
Então, primeiramente, pedir desculpa, mas foi uma montagem que ele fez de mim no Twitter. Eu acabei vendo, ele colocou um piá gordinho, bem gordo, assim, minha cabeça ali. E eu mostrei para ele que eu não sou gordo e eu fui ali para bater nele. E foi o que eu fiz.
Well, I'm sorry about that. I mean, maybe people didn't know. He posted on Twitter a fat baby with my face on it, and I just wanted to kind of get that back to him.
Okay, fair enough. And I guess last question I have for you, I guess you're okay, you understand, you're definitely moving to bantamweight. Is there a name that makes sense for you, or are you thinking about, what you can do at 135 pounds?
Bom, agora você vai subir para 135. Tem algum nome que você pensa em lutar? Ou você tem alguma declaração a fazer sobre isso?
Então, primeiramente, eu quero pedir desculpa humildemente mais uma vez aos fãs, pedir desculpa ao UFC, Dana White, Diaz, Silva, Sr. Shelby, por isso ter acontecido novamente, mas eu creio que no 135 eu vou fazer barulho, né? Porque eu sou lutador e subo ali para lutar, e o que vai acontecer vai ser isso. Já que esse problema que eu tenho com o peso aí, então eu vou tentar buscar o cinturão do 135.
First of all, I'd like to apologize to the UFC, to Dana White, to all my fans, to Sean, to Joe. I have some difficulty with the weight cut, and it's something I haven't figured out. I'm going to go up to 135, and I'm going to make noise there, and I'm going to go for the title there.
Fantastic. And just lastly from me, Talis, obviously congratulations, $100,000. Tell us how good it feels to be here, after the long road that you've had to get back here, and also why you chose to stand and trade with Tim Boetsch when it seemed like the clear path to victory was take him down and just get the fight to the ground.
First of all, it's always good to be fighting UFC, and my game plan was that, man, fight on stand, improving my stand-up game, believe in myself. It's what I've been doing since I returned to the UFC Doesn't matter who we're gonna fight. You know, the fight start on stand. I will do on stand, and of course, jiu-jitsu is my home, and it's exactly what I did.
Question for Dana. Can you kind of give your assessment of how Anderson looked physically? Obviously, he was coming off of an injury and sort of a mental hurdle to clear, but physically, as a 39-year-old, how did you think he was moving out there?
Looks damn good for a 39-year-old. For those of you that aren't 39 yet, let me tell you what, to go out there and do what that guy's still doing and to do what he's done to this point is it's amazing. I thought he physically looked good tonight. What he went through, that injury, and then coming back after, over a year, you knew you weren't going to see, the Anderson we remember. But getting 5 rounds in, getting a little more mentally confident, in the leg and all the other things, we'll be able to tell by his next performance. We'll know where he's there. You know how I feel about this stuff. I've said it a million times. You're 39 years old, you're 38 years old, you're out there looking like a world beater, and then one day, Father Time kicks you in the ass and you come out in one fight and you look like it's over. So I don't know. You can't judge Anderson off this performance because, I think there were a lot of other issues. But he physically looked good. He physically looked strong. He was in great shape. Made weight easy, and you saw little hints of the old Anderson when he would start to move. It was almost like he was tentative tonight. It wasn't that he didn't have it. It was that he was tentative.
So what makes sense for him next in your mind? Obviously, I know you got to think about it, but can you give us even just some options? What kind of?
I honestly don't even know. What I want Anderson to do, you know how he is about going home and hanging out with his family. I want him to go home, hang out with his family. I'm sure, he took some. Diaz hit him with some really good leg kicks. Kept chopping that same leg. I'm sure that leg is sore and everything else. Get his head clear, and then we'll see what's next.
I mean, it sounded like, based on Twitter, obviously I wasn't watching the broadcast, but you were talking about the Vitor-Belfort situation. Do you have a number 1 contender at middleweight, or is that sort of in the air right now? It sounds like you're trying to find him a fight. Is Vitor
it's
next?
Vitor. Vitor's the number 1 contender right now. Weidman's hurt. It's typical Vitor, okay? Vitor is blowing me up on the phone. I want a interim title fight. I haven't fought. I want this fight. I want to stay on the card. I want to fight. So all day, obviously the day that this was happening was a rough day for me. I had a lot of stuff going on that day. So I literally, it was about 8:30 at night by the time I got to it and handled it. So what I did is I picked up the phone and I called Lyoto Machida. I said, here's the deal. The first thing Lyoto Machida said is send me the bout agreement. I called them back and they're like, yeah. We'll wait for the Chris Weidman. So, there you go.
And then, real quickly for you, Tyron, right here in front of you. On the Embedded show, it showed you and Kelvin before you went out to the weigh-in, and you said that you weren't mad at him, you were mad at the situation. I was wondering just what you meant by that. Are you mad? Do you have like a certain, stance towards just weight cutting in general? Were you mad that the situation that you got put in and you had to make a hard decision to make? Can you sort of just expand what you meant by you were mad at the decision, at the situation, and not Kelvin?
It just looked like he had a cinder block dropped on top of his head, and I just wanted to let him know. This is a sport to me. I don't have to hate the person to fight him to try to knock him out. That's a part of the fight game. So I just let him know that I was frustrated with the situation. And like I said before, just the principle of it. This is a business to me, and I feel like, it's a sport as well. But when you are a professional in a professional sport, you have to do professional things. And I was just frustrated at the situation because for me, I had, put everything differently in this camp. And, I felt like, I put some good things together. And weight cut my last 3 weight cuts has been tough. I was like, damn, man, the last 3 pounds looked like they didn't want to come off, but I always get them off no matter what. So this time it just fell off, and I was more frustrated with that. Like the one time I'm ready, I'm mentally, I can't even think of too many things that went wrong in this camp, and that's not usually, these fighters just tell you there's all these little nagging injuries, distractions, and things that go up, but I was able to really stay focused this time, and I was just kind of pissed off. So I just want to let him know that, as a sportsman, I wasn't really pissed at him like he thought I was.
And one of the big things I think that he meant that he's not saying is yesterday when he and I were talking, I got to know if there's a fight. Are you accepting him with the 10-pound difference? And he's saying, I feel like this thing's coming down on me now. Like I'm in trouble, or you're acting like I did something wrong, which I wasn't. I'm asking him if he wants to fight or not, but he's right. He's right in that, now he has to make a decision whether he wants to fight a kid that weighs 10 pounds more than him the day of the weigh-in, right? And everything's on the line, his position where he is and everything else. And that's one of these tough things that these guys come in and they have to pull the trigger. Did I just do this whole camp, and do I not want to fight and not make money and just go home? And it's unfortunate when you've been cutting. First of all, these guys are all nasty to deal with when they're cutting weight, right? You don't want to. Last thing you want to do is invade their space or even deal with anything that has to do with business or anything when these guys are cutting weight. I don't even go near these guys when they're cutting weight. And then he's got to make the decision like that yesterday. It's a tough decision to make. I understand the position he was in, and I respect him for taking the fight.
And last question for you, Tyron. You've been a guy who's texted Dana White before and asked him for things. It seems like you've done, you took a fight on short notice, and now you took a fight against a guy who missed weight. Do you have any requests right now, or are you sort of just, whatever the company decides?
I think that's a soundbite. I think every fighter hears somebody say, I do whatever the company wants me to do, and it sounds good, and they say it. I think what's best for my career, I had my eyes too big looking at the belt when I fought Rory McDonald, and now I'm just looking at beating consistently top 10 guys. I don't know if that's the 5th or 6th top 10 guy I beat in my career, and, your task in front of you is your most important task. If you don't take care of that task, none of the things in the future is going to happen. I'm the number 3 welterweight in the world. I'm always going to be in the talks of a title, and it's a lot of major bouts coming up. I'll be in shape. I didn't get hit up too bad today, so I'll be ready, and if something happens where I got to step in that fight. So for me, I'm just focusing on being a better fighter, bringing more out in the cage, and just really just consistently beating top-level guys, because it's not like I'm went out there and fought the number 30th guy in the world. That was the number 7 guy in the world who just steamrolled 2 or 3 guys. So for me, it's just being consistent and, staying true to myself.
So I'm going to take a couple more questions here. And then what's going to happen is Anderson Silva's running late. I'm going to let these guys go. And those of you that want to hang for Anderson, he should be here in another 15 minutes.
Dana, have your guys given you any more information on a Weidman timeline as to when he'll be able to fight again?
No, it's one of these, it's a rib injury. So it's one of those things, and I don't think it's a broken or fractured rib. It's like the cartilage or the whatever in between. It's so painful. If anybody's ever had that, I mean, like I said, coughing and sneezing and sitting up are tough chores, let alone training and fighting. But this is, and it kind of goes to what Tyrone was just saying. It's like, unfortunately, in this sport, you can't handpick, and everything isn't perfect. You can't say, well, I know what's right for me and what I want next, because you don't know how things are going to go. Like this Vitor Belfort situation. He's ready for the title. Now he decides not to fight Machida. Well, what if something else goes wrong with Weidman and he's out longer? He has to fight. My advice is always take every fight you can get, take every opportunity you can get, and make as much money as you can get.
And Vitor will definitely not fight.
I'm not saying that's definite. It's Vitor. We'll see what happens. We're giving him one more option.
Dana.
Yep.
Sorry, over here.
Hey.
How's it going? You talked about John not being allowed to fight at flyweight anymore. Does the same go for Kelvin? Because he's had weight problems.
John not being allowed to what?
Or to fight at flyweight anymore. Does the same go for Gastelum, who's had?
Yeah, Gastelum's a 185-pounder now.
Okay. Right on. And then a lot of people had assumed that the winner of John's fight would get a shot at Demetrius. What do you do with that division now if he's sort of out of the
Yeah, this is an unfortunate turn of circumstances. This guy looked impressive tonight. He looked really good. And he beat a real tough guy. So,
And then Misha, you had said before the fight that you weren't sure a win would be enough to get you a title shot. After your performance today, do you feel like you can get in their ear a little bit about fighting for the belt?
I suppose it depends who wins, If it's Ronda, obviously I think I have a little bit more work to do. If it's Kat, I think a better argument could be made. We'll see who wins out of those two. But I've already told everyone that I'm willing to do what it takes to get back to that. I'm not asking for it right now. I'm not asking for any handouts. I'm willing to put my nose to the grindstone. I'm willing to beat all the other top contenders until I am the only option left, if that's what I have to do.
Cool. All right. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Karen.
Feel to be back, and you got You know, Rock certainly. He's obviously a tough fight for you. Just curious how you feel about your comeback here and about the victory.
It feels great. You know, the first round it took me a little bit to get warmed up, and you know, but in the second round, my coach told me just go out there and you're gonna have to make a dirty fight. You know, you gotta take the fight to him, and that's what I did.
How difficult has it been for you to stay positive, all the ups and downs, a lot of downs, obviously, in your career? How have you been able to stay positive?
Well, just, you know, focus in the moment. I know what I want, and I keep working hard. You know, keep working hard and just focus on what I want to accomplish. And there's not much you can do. You know, unfortunately, in the fight business, you know, you're as good as your last fight, so you always got to try to be your best every day and perform at your best, and that's what I did tonight. Okay,
and Mitja, real quick, how are you feeling? Are you feeling, you know, physically okay after this fight?
I have a really bad headache right now. She clipped me pretty good in the first round and actually broke my orbital bone in 2 spots. So I can't look down, and this bright light over here is not very comfortable, to say the least. But I mean, I don't know. She's as tough as they come, and she can pack a punch. That's for sure. But yeah, I mean, I'm happy emotionally, but physically, I definitely am not feeling so hot right now.
And how long?
I just got back from the hospital.
Yeah, how long did they say that you have to, you know, not train?
They said like broken bones, 4 to 6 weeks takes to heal. So, yeah, I know it doesn't look bad, but it feels pretty crappy.
Just
all right.
Before you let Al go, before you dismiss everybody, I just want to ask Al real quick, get his thoughts. Obviously, a big win for you tonight. You're on a nice roll right now. How did you feel about your performance this season?
I felt good, man. I don't know who I got to beat to get a bonus around here. But I'll keep doing it. I'll keep training hard. I'm the hardest training guy in this, you know, division. So I'm going to keep whooping ass, and eventually I'll get that bonus. Don't worry about it.
And obviously, I mean, this is your second kind of name guy in a row that you've beaten. What do you think makes sense for you at this time? I mean, still early in your UFC career, but you've racked up some big wins.
Top 15. We're going to Mexico. I'm going to learn Spanish. So all the senoritas are going to love me. It's going to be good.
All right. That does it for me.
All right, I'm going to let these guys go. Anderson Silva will be here in seconds. He's actually was coming up the elevator earlier. Guys, you can get out of here. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.